Hello, welcome to PixelMgc for yet another interesting video on Illustrator. So today I'll gonna tell you how to create ID card, that means identity card, from the scratch. As you can see, I got a visiting card for which I'm going to build a identity card, and the whole process is all about what is the requirement of the client, and as per that we have to collect the information and build it. So as per the requirement from the client, it's a computer hardware shop. So this is a photo of the owner, and he has suggested to have some computer parts images as a background of the identity card. That's why I just collected some of the images and I'm gonna clean its background using Photoshop. So for that I'm selecting using your quick selection tool. By holding Alt, I'm going to minus the part what is selected by default. So here I'm using selection tool, and after selection I just press on delete to clean the background, and now I'm going to export it as PNG image. So this is the prerequisites. So before you proceed on Illustrator, I have to perform all these cleaning process means of these images. This is a cartridge refilling image, so I'm just here selecting all those. See, here by default is selecting some part of the printer cartridge, so that's why I just unselected it using Alt command, Alt button from the keyboard, and using mouse I'm just deselecting the automated selected parts what we require for the identity card. So I'm just deselecting the parts which is automated getting selected by reducing the size of the brush using bracket key, left bracket key, that is situated just close to P, next to P, and just try to as close as possible, and we'll do some refinement so that it's doesn't look like that it's been cut out from somewhere else. So I'm going to refine it. The first I've given 2, again 2, then feather is 1.5, so I'm gonna click OK. So now all the parts are selected, and remember to make the background unlocked, because it was unlocked. I just unlocked it, it was locked before, and press delete to clear the background. I've saved it also with PNG, and for this part I'm again doing the same thing. I'm using quick selection tool, and you can see here some of the part is auto selected, so I'm just going to minus it using holding Alt command, and using the brush tool simply minus the part which is auto selected. I'm doing it very slowly. I could have do it fast, but due to it's a learning tutorial, that's why I just settle down to go slow. Here I am just having some problem with selecting the wire of this headphone. That's why I'm just reducing the size and trying to deselect it which was selected before. Then again here also I'm going to do some refinement, and try to make sure that you don't cutting out any part of this kind of image whenever you are going to do it. Again the same process, first is 2, then 2, then feathers 1.5, then hit OK. Now press delete. So before that you have to convert it to unlocked layer and select layer at 0, and I'm going to save it to export to PNG format. Now coming to the photo of the identity card which you're going to use, as he doesn't use any DSLR, he just use a mobile phone camera, so I'm gonna do the same thing by using selecting tool, auto select tool, sorry, yes, quick selection tool. I'm going to select it and doing the same thing as I did for all the previous images. So here we need some adjustment to the photo, because one side it is looking darker than other side, so need some adjustment. As and it doesn't matter if the photo is not so much clear, although it will be alright, because the photo itself going to be displayed in very small, that is a 3.5 to 4.5, 3.5 to 2.5 cm. So it's okay, just make some lighting, so I'm just doing that. And I have added another layer to give some background color. Here I have chosen gray, because anything bright will look like the photo even more darker, so I just go for gray. So right now all the images are done. Now I'm going to open Illustrator. So here you can choose the size is 85 by 54. This is the standard size of any ID card for a standard size, but sometimes there is some different size for school people, school children, and some schools use a little bit smaller size, but this is the standard size. So you can measure it if you have a sample of previously made identity card. So here I'm going to use that logo. First I have started that I could have some letter, for that we can edit it, but better to trace it. So I'm using pen tool over here to trace it down and try to a little bit less opacity. Right now it's 100, so I'm going to change it. So I've just changed it to 50% or 40% will be alright, so that we could see the underneath image and we can trace better. Again here also be careful to select the proper shape. I could also edit this image using Photoshop and directly put that logo on the required area, but it will not so much good idea, because whenever doing a professional thing you need to think of a little bit professional way, so that anyone can see, anyone will see that work, then he can think of that, yeah, this is the work should be done, this is the way the work should be done. And now for the inner part I'm just speeding up, and here also I did the same thing, reduce the opacity. Making some minor adjustment over here. For the last part, and here I am going to minus the front part from the shape we have created just a minute before. I have just given different color to see the color that which part I am going to delete. You can use same color also, but not as a black or background one. Have some different color. So I just made a copy out of it. Anything wrong happens, then I could have the previously built shape. So I'm going to use selecting both the shape and going to Pathfinder and selected minus front, and I'm gonna do all the three shapes. Do the same thing for all the three shapes. Now my logo part is ready. This is the logo, and here if you are not satisfied, you can do some adjustment over here using direct selection tool. And I'm doing the same thing, as the shape is little bit glitch on it. There's no some smooth enough. That's why I'm just try to give some smooth look to it. So these all works are required lots of patience, so you don't feel impatient while doing all the stuffs. See here, whenever you don't want that one part should not be affected by while I'm changing the other part of the curve, so you can hold Alt and move the handler to affect it from one side only. And if you do not press Alt, then it will automatically apply it for both side of the point. Here you can see I have not used Alt, that's why it's just affected both the side. Here I am using Alt, holding Alt, only the curve will be affected. Now once you satisfied with the logo, then you can proceed. So I feel this part a little bit became smaller, so to judge it I'm using another shape. Yes, here is some problem. I'm just having some changes over here. To measure this kind of situation, you can use any other shape. To normally we use rectangular shape. See, right now I feel it's almost fair enough. Now I can proceed for this part. So I'm going to delete all this text stuffs, as first I have planned to convert it using create outline. We can edit the text, but I feel that's not a good idea for this kind of logo. That's why I just traced it, and I'm gonna place it above the canvas artboard. Canvas is a word which is used for Photoshop, and here in Illustrator it is known as your artboard. Now I am kept that visiting card side of my design to collect the information what it should be present in the identity card. So first of all, the shop name. So here I am free to use any font because there is no such requirement from the client that I should use this font or only the font is used in visiting card. That's why I just using a font of my choice. So I'm going to, with this one. It's looking a little trendy and yeah, a kind of IT related thing. That's why I just using this one. And rest of the fonts I am going to use normal sans serif fonts because it should be readable properly. That's why I'm going to use sans serif fonts like Arial or any font that doesn't have any texture. The plain and simple looking fonts I'm going to use. So here I'm just having some changes with the color. I have tried to match the color of the logo. Aligning it manually. Now for the next part. As I have said, I'm going to use any font that should be clean and clear, because these fonts are going to be too small. That's why that should be plain enough and readable. In system it looks good when you use bold letters, but in actual print, because the size is really small, then in actual print if you use bold letter, that may not be that much readable while you print it. So this size is fair enough. So I need to some kind of adjustment. I've just used the transform tool to have some adjustment. By holding shift also you can do that. From corner drag it out to resize. So now it's time to import those images which was we have created using Photoshop, because these images will be used as backdrop in transparent, having some opacity will be reduced. So I have opened it and copied from there and placing it over here. You can also use place, which is also in file menu and place. Using that one also you can directly import the things to the canvas. All these images I'm just trying to place in proper place, so that anything I'll write that should not be, that should be clear. That's why I'm just placing those images. And just reduce the opacity, and I have tried to make it around 25 or 30. It will be good enough. If you put a 50 over here, that should be that will be too much clear. That's why just have it between 20 to 30. Now for photo I'm just creating a frame. Yes, this is the frame where I would place the photo. Now making some changes, because photo will be there, so whatever images is underneath will not be seen. So I have here tried to cover as much as area possible. So now it's time to place the photo. I have clicked file and clicked place, and this is the photo what we have edited in Photoshop. Means just we have made some adjustment and deleted the background. Now I'm using clipping tool to clip it down, holding both the shape and selecting both the shape and make clipping max by right clicking it. Now we have a photo, but if you want to put some border, then you can use rectangle tool, or you could have copied the previously created rectangle from there, but I have forgotten. That's why I'm just creating again. The border is 1 point border, or you can use 2 point border to have some good looking outline. Now the border is ready. Next is name part, and other part what it should be in an identity card. So I'm going to type the name using little bit bold letter, because name should be properly readable, and it is normally in size of 12 to 14 point, because you don't have much space whenever we talk about talk about identity card or visiting card. So here I am using a little bit bigger letter and bold one, and except these, all the rest of the things or rest of the information what I'm going to put it, that will be in small letter, sorry, in normal letter, not in bold letter. So again, try to use sans serif fonts. Here I'm just having some resize. Anything, any text you want to copy it out, I'm just holding Alt and using dragging the mouse, I'm just creating another copy of it. So here after name I'm going to place his blood group, which is O positive. So for that I'm just going to choose some font. So here for blood group I'm going to use a blood type of image. If you can have some, you can see water droplet, but it's just a different from water droplet in a different way. Or you can see it's, you can see it as water droplet. So I'm using that one by creating an ellipse. I just dragged it down by holding it point, and by adding an anchor point and change the angle for one side and having some gradient effect to it. Then I'm going to place O positive in white letters in between that. So it's looking good. Making a copy out of the letter by holding Alt and dragging the mouse. I'm going to type plus VE, that stands for positive. I'm placing it over here. Now moving on, I'm going to reduce the size because all the stuffs I want to have within that shape created. Now it's okay, look like okay, yeah. So I'm going to place it over here. Now this font I'm going to use for the rest of the information. Like contact number first. Next is the email ID. It's not important though, but his request is to put email ID to it, to his identity card, so I'm using it. Normally email IDs are present in a visiting card. So in between I just talked to him, so I just cleaned out the email ID and I'm going to put the address of the shop after it. Making it middle alignment. So here is having some problem to select. Sorry for that. I'm just have tried to select the address part, and yes. So this is the information what normally present in a visiting card, sorry, identity card. So having some minor changes. So I want to mention his post over there. He's a proprietor, that's why. He's a businessman, small entrepreneur, that's why I have used proprietor to his designation. Now I'm not satisfied with the address and contact number, so I'm just going to separate it. Contact number should be placed in the first part and address will be in the last part, and I'm going to use a rectangle for the so here I'm going to use a rectangle. That before that I just want to use the location symbol for his address. So I have made the whole address part right aligned in spite of middle element, and to put this symbol beside to address. Now I'm just changing the layer, so it doesn't require that you should change the layer. For my betterment I just change a new layer, create a new layer, and here I am going to add some effect to it. Effect in the sense for the background purpose, for the bottom part and upper part I am going to use some effect. So I'm just using pencil tool over here and drawing random lines. Then selecting all of them, all the created lines, going to object, blend, and here I'm taking 25 will be good enough, and click on blend. So here I'm taking 2-3 colors. So before that I'm just expanding the shape, and I'm just targeting much more on path, not to fill. I don't want to fill, so I'm just taking some colors over there to apply a multicolor mesh. I'm just adding new points to gradient fill, by clicking there, or you can create it by holding Alt and dragging the mouse to those points. So this is the multicolored mesh I just want to put to below part, the bottom part and the upper part of this ID card, and I'm going to change the opacity of it. So here I've created a box which will be trimmed it out, means using clipping mask. I'm going to cut out the shape by selecting both the shape and create, right clicking and clicking on clipping mask, create clipping mask, and just going to again, it's done. Here I have changed the opacity, create a copy out of it and use it on the top part also, and I'm gonna send it to backward so that it will not affect the text created. So as I said that here I am using a separator, a rectangle, to use as a separator for address line. Some final changes for the background transparent images. So this is it, is the final output. You can see over here and you can try of your own. Okay, thank you very much for today. Have a nice day and keep tuning to PixelMgc, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to have notification on newly added video. Thank you very much and have a good day.